Hey there, planners. I pulled out stacks and stacks of previous planners, and these are just a few. There's more all around me. And the reason I did this is because I wanted to take, of all the planners I've used, looking back on them, what are the top tips for setting up a new planner? As you're heading into the new year and thinking about how to be your best self, your most productive self, your healthiest self, but mentally, physically, how to just squeeze all the juice out of life next year. These 10 tips for setting up your planner system are going to help you achieve all those goals. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, I'm going to dive right in today and not waste any time because we have 10 tips and that's a lot to get through. So I'm going to start with my number one top tip. The thing, if you do nothing else on this list, I hope you'll do this one because it is the thing that I get the most juice out of and helps me be the most productive I can be every year. And that is a reoccurring task list. Now, in this stack of planners, which are planners that I have used at various times throughout the last 5 years, every single one of these has my reoccurring task list. So I'm just going to start by sharing them with you. All of them are tabbed for me to easily be able to find really easily. So here's an example from an Erin Condren. This is a notes page in an Erin Condren planner. And you can see I have my reoccurring task list right here. I have it broken down into time frames: yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. On these sections, I have captured all of those things that you have to do on a regular basis that will drive you crazy if you forget them. These include things like taking your vitamins, starting the crock pot, taking your dog for a walk, changing the HVAC filters in your home. All of those things that you just have to do because you're an adult and it's required. But you cannot always remember them because they're those little naggy items. Those things are taking up space rent-free in your brain, and you need to get rid of them. Get them out on paper somewhere that you can reference in your planner system, and you don't have to remember because look, I need all the space I can get in my brain, and all of these things are taking up that valuable space. So here's an example from my Erin Condren. Let me show you an example in a ring planner. Really, this can go in any planner that you have. It's just important to have a place for it. So here's a ring planner example. And in this planner, I just had my annual, monthly, weekly, and daily combined. And the important thing is that these are meaningful to you. So you can see what my tasks are, but the question is, what are the important tasks for you? Because yours might not be the same as mine. I have things like taxes and hair appointments and dog visits and, laundry, things like that on my list, but maybe you have a different list. Well, you might be wondering, how do you come up with your list of items? Here's a Hobonichi cousin that I used in 2022 as my main planner, and here's my reoccurring task list. Now here you can see I did not break the reoccurring task list down by time frame. I just had a big old brain dump for those reoccurring task lists. And things like making phone calls, doctor's appointments, packing for a trip, all of those things. The best way that I can advise you to find these for yourself so that you have a very customized list of things that you need to do on a regular basis is to go through your planner. These are already living in your planner. If you go through your current planning system, whether that is a digital planner, your Google Calendar, a task list, some sticky notes on your desk, or your actual bullet journal or pre-printed planner or ring planner that you're using, you will find these guys living in those planners on your daily sections, your weekly sections, your to-do list. They're probably showing up with some regularity and frequency. And so those are the items that you want to go pull out and put in your own reoccurring task list somewhere in your planner system. This is going to save you time. It's also going to save you headaches if you forget one, because these are not the things that you want to forget. They're required adulting activities. This is my top tip for you in the new year for setting up your planner. Find the time to go through old planner systems, identify what your reoccurring task lists are, and populate them in your planner system somewhere. Notes pages, tip in, bookmark, sticky note that you move. The other thing to keep in mind is that these do sometimes change. I find on a quarterly basis it's good to come in and do an audit of these and make sure that nothing has fallen off the list or gotten added to the list. This is my top tip for your new planner setup in 2025. All right, the second tip for setting up your planner system for the year ahead is to make sure you have a place to capture future events. Now, this may seem like a no-brainer, and it doesn't even matter what type of planner you're using. You can't be prepared and organized and make progress on your goals if you don't have a safe place to keep future commitments of your time and resources. So if you have a printed planner with months, use that. Flip ahead to the months that you have in your pre-printed planner. If you have a bullet journal, build out a future log. Little calendars, you can use stickers for this. Give yourself space to write in the things that are coming up. You can also, what I use is Google Calendar on my phone. I actually share my future log with family members by all of us using Google Calendar on our various devices. We go in, we put in what's happening, we plug in, doctor's appointments, family vacations, all of that stuff. It makes great for collaboration across multiple people. You could even use it with teams, things like that. If you're thinking about work, like what's going on with your team at work or other teams, having that place to capture those events is so important, because when you go to plan your month, your quarter, your week, your day, you need to have a good idea of where you are already committed, because that is going to reduce the amount of time you have to do other things. So as you're setting up your planner system for the year ahead, make sure you have a place to capture future commitments of your time and events. All right, the next tip for setting up your planner system for the year ahead is to have a place for goals. Now, different folks have different reactions to the mention of goals. If you start to break out in hives and get very nervous and sort of freak out and want to rebel against the entire concept of goals, that's okay. Some people get very excited and want to go way down in the depths and have, reflection sessions and words of the year and all of that. I'm probably more towards that end, given that I have a word of the year every year and a dedicated reflection time. I like spending time setting goals for the year ahead because it really helps provide prioritization and a sense of direction as I head into the year and in making decisions about what I'm going to do and not do. I do some form of goal planning in my personal life and in my professional life every year. At a minimum, having a goal spread can be as simple or as elaborate as you want it, but it's really important to have somewhere in your planner system so that you can prioritize your time and energy as you go through the year. You are bound to run into periods of time when you have more to do than you have time to do it. Or maybe you've just come into a season where you need a bit more rest than you have in the past. And this is where your goals can really help you prioritize your time and energy, help you to reflect on those in your day-to-day life. I have used various systems over the years. I've used a dedicated goal planner like the Cultivate What Matters goal planner. Moxie Life is another option. I've used a system where I incorporate my goals into my planner on an annual, quarterly, and monthly basis, just plugging those in and giving myself that direction. Next year, I have created a do-it-yourself goal planner, which I have a whole video all about how I set this up, but this is using free printables, mainly free resources, and really setting myself up for success, reflection, my process for using my word of the year, plenty of notes, end of year reflection, all of that. If you'd like to learn more about the system that I'm going to be using next year and be able to build your own system, take a look at that video I have listed down in the description box below. The main point is make sure you're giving some thought about how you're going to incorporate your overarching intentions and goals into your system next year so that you can make those very important prioritization decisions about how you want to spend your time. Okay, the next tip I have, tip number 4 for setting up your planner system for the new year, is to make sure you're incorporating a task prompt list, sometimes called a trigger list or a brain dump list. This is similar to the reoccurring task list in that it's a list that prompts you to remember things that you need to do. However, this is a tool that can be paired with like a brain dump exercise, and you can find printable ones everywhere. You'll see I've got a couple of different versions of this. So in my Rings planner and also in my little A6stology, my little everyday carry, I have used in the past printable ones. Like these come from my minimal planner or Planning with B. There's a bunch of freebies that are like this. Task reminders, and these are things like projects and activities, children, bills, bank, loans, books, classes, travel, vacation, automobiles, cleaning. They're just these little prompts that have you ask yourself, is there something I need to do in this area? I made myself one in this Erin Condren planner that I used in the past. This is a notes page. I gave myself the header, brain dump triggers, and then I just listed out in the categories, for the home, decor, repairs, project, cozy, right? Like that doesn't seem, you probably won't find cozy on most pre-printed trigger lists, but to me, that's a prompt to say, one of my intentions is to have my house be a cozy place for my family. Is there anything I need to do at this time in this season to make my house cozy? That's kind of the way it's triggering me to think about, is there something that I want to do there? Chores, as far as groceries, like the meal plan, what's in the freezer, the pantry. For health, are there doctors, dentists, dermatologists, diet, vitamins? Just giving yourself those little words that'll help you focus on the things that are more important. So you can find these in all different formats. It's also really great to sit down and come up with your own, because if you flip back through your old planners, you can probably see categories and things that you've done in the past. Jot those down as triggers and make your own list if that is how you want to customize your planner. Having these really helps you kind of step back when you need to at the beginning of a month or the beginning of a week or the beginning of a quarter, kind of clear your mind, get things out of your head. Now you may decide when you end up with that list, I don't need to do all these things, and that's fine. At least your brain is clear and you've thought through and processed them. My 5th tip for you is something that you're actually seeing me do as I'm making this video, and that is when you're getting ready to set up your next planner, go through your old planners. Inventorying your old planners provides you a wealth of valuable information. Pull out your old planners and flip through them. Take the time to look at what did you like about them? What did you not like about them? What really worked for you? What didn't work? Aesthetically, what was pleasing about those planners? And do you want to recreate that? Were you engaged in the planner? Was there a time when you stopped using the planner, and why did you stop using the planner? Did you try something that didn't work and caused you to leave the planner system altogether? All of those sort of inventorying your older planners, all of those insights can be built into your new planner. I have actually found that I go through cycles and seasons, things that really work for me for a while. Something happens in life and they don't work for me anymore, and I end up abandoning that. But when I go back through my old planners, I think, I'll see it and go, oh my gosh, I am in a place now where that would really work again, and being able to pull that out. So spend some time going through your old planners, whether those are digital planners or a sweep of your Google Calendar or Good Notes planners, OneNote, or your physical ring-bound bullet journal, pre-printed planner, whatever you have. spend some time going through your old planners and capture all those lessons learned so that you can implement what works for you in the year ahead. All right, my next tip for you as you are setting up your planner for the new year, setting up a new planner, tip number 6 is to spend some time thinking about what goes where. One of the major points of frustration and a big time productivity killer is to duplicate information in multiple sections of your planner or multiple planners. Now, just a caveat here, if you like doing that, because some people just genuinely like rewriting the same thing over and over again. If you like that and it helps you and it's actually a tool that helps you remember things, continue to do that, ignore this tip. But if that brings you frustration and you see that as a productivity killer, then spend some time up front mapping out where things go. The reason this can happen is if you're using, a digital planner, a pre-printed planner, a blank notebook, and you haven't spent time really mapping out what information that you need to capture in your planning system and where it's going to go, then you may find yourself duplicating because you're trying to figure out where to put it and you forget that you put it here, or you want to make sure it's visible, so you're capturing in multiple places. The way you can fix this is to sit down with your planner and some sticky notes before you begin setup and map out what goes where, or just start with a list. And I often use the list method. So you can see, here's a planner where I said, here's what I currently have. And then I went through kind of planners and categories of life. So fitness, monthly, quarterly, weekly, daily. And I listed out what are the things that I need to have in my planning system. And then I plugged them into the planners that I was using at the time. Same thing here. I have in this Stylogy notebook, I just sat down and made a list. Every month needs. And then I listed out all the things that I needed to put in every month. Annual planner spreads. So what are the kind of list and information, calendars, trackers, things like that I need? Weekly spreads, notes. What are the things that I need to do? So I really spent time mapping it out. I've even got, as I'm headed into the end of this year, ignore this list of yarn colors for other project, but I've even got a list of what do I need to include as far as list in my next planner setup. So that's really the first step for me. And then once I have sort of my list figured out, I will take the new planner, take some sticky notes, make a note of what I think I want to include on that page and kind of lay it all out, and then step back and look at it and see, is there duplication? Is it going to make sense to have these things together in this section, or is there some shift or change that I need to make so that it makes more sense? This is going to ensure that there's no duplication and that you're the most efficient and that you have the information when you need it, where you need it. All right, my next tip for you as you're setting up your new planner actually should occur before you set up your new planner, and that is, why do you need this planner in the first place? Spend some time on this question. I mean, it's fine if you get a new planner and you just start using it and you figure it out as you go. But a more effective way to approach a new planner and that planner setup is to sit down and list out the things you need the planner to do. For example, here's an example. A couple years ago, I was thinking that I needed to add to my planner system, my planner and journal system, a new Bible journal. So before I went out and bought a journal or a planner and just started using it and figuring it out, I actually sat down and mapped out, what is it that I want this planner to include? What will it do for me? What are the supplies I think I need? How am I going to use this planner? Those are all the type of questions that you want to ask. This is going to help you identify what needs to be in the planner, how you're going to use it, and if you even need a different tool than you think you do. Because in this case, I actually thought I needed one thing and ended up, when it came to listing out the supplies, because I had actually taken the time to think through this, I went with something totally different. And, bonus if you do this before you start buying new planners. That's really key, because if I had gone with my initial idea here, I would have probably ended up not using that tool and needing to buy something else. So this is one example. I think with any new planner or coming into any new year, before you start buying the planner, before you start setting it up, spend some time asking yourself questions about how you're going to use it and what information it needs to contain. That's going to help you with your setup immensely. All right, tip number 8 for setting up your new planner for the new year: gather your supplies. Now, maybe you only need a notebook and a pen. And if so, awesome. What kind of pen is it? Because I bet it's a really good pen. Now, I like to have a bit more than just a pen and a notebook. Each year, I put a basket or a box, here's an example, on my desk, and I just start to throw things in it. I usually put this box out towards the end of the third quarter, the beginning of the fourth quarter of the year, and I just start to toss things in it that I think I want to be part of my planner setup. Some of these things are new, some of these things are old, some of the things are things that I come across, some of the things are things that I make or print or already have. As I'm thinking about color schemes and the types of planners I'm going to be using and what I need, I just start to populate the box. So I'll go through and show you, kind of some of the things that are in here. Here's a set of mini monthly tabs from Coffee Monster Co. This is a roll of washi that's got this beautiful, book-like scene on it from Simply Gilded. I love the purples. I picked up these little tabs from Midori. These are little plastic planner tabs. They're little tiny tabs. I'll have lots of stuff linked down in the description box below. Here's something I printed out on sticker paper. I absolutely love this, looking out at the purple water. I've got, all of these here are from Virgo and Paper, which is one of my very favorite shops. I always catch their annual releases, and isn't that gorgeous? So beautiful. So things that say 2025, these are from Coffee Monster Co. I'm not sure what I was thinking. I guess I think I'll need sticky notes next year. I've got this little weekly book from Hobonichi in here, more Coffee Monster Co. stuff, an A6 clear cover, some old stickers from Virgo and Paper. So hopefully you get like the sense. I'm not actually, purchasing everything. Some things I'm just making, but mainly I'm keeping a box where I'm just throwing supplies in as I come across them, see them, purchase them, buy them, make them. I'm just throwing them in there. And I will continue to do this until it's time to set up. Now, I might not use everything in the box, but at least I have sort of a dedicated place where I can begin to gather ephemera, photos, stickers, anything I think I might want to go in my new planner setup. Launches from my favorite shops. I watch Virgo and Paper, Coffee Monster Co., Planner Monkey Co., some of those. I'm sure you all have favorite shops. Leave some of those down in the comments below if you are stalking shop releases for the new year. I also make a list of things that I want to make for my planner setup. So I usually keep a action item list as I'm headed into the end of the year. Things, a year at a glance. I like to make one of those, a list of holidays. I like to make that for myself. I will probably be making that again available to my Planning Annie Facebook group members. I'll have that listed down below, but I did that last year. I'll probably be doing that again this year, giving out a freebie at the beginning of the year. So make sure you start thinking about gathering your supplies, whatever you might need, unless you're one of those just paper and pen people, and then, more power to you. All right, tip number 9 for setting up your new planner. Use list like your life depends on it in your new planner system. So anything you repeatedly do should be made into a list so that you no longer have to think about it. For example, here is my master grocery list. It took me a while to set up this list on this page. However, what I don't have to do is spend a lot of time thinking about What are the standard pantry ingredients that we want to keep in our cabinet? When I go to grocery shop on a weekly basis, I come here and I look and make sure that I've got all the things that I like to keep. And if I don't, then I can quickly make a decision. Do I need to purchase it or not? That's one example. There are certainly other lists that you can keep. Here's an example of a weekly review list. These are the activities that I like to go through as I'm conducting my weekly review. I also have in the back of this bullet journal that I'm using this year, I have my monthly review questions, this list of questions that I like to go through. I have my Sunday reset checklist that I like to go through at the end of the week to sort of reset myself. I even have a little bookmark that I can pop out of here and put on the desk beside me with my monthly reset checklist. So the point is, go through your life and find those things that you can turn into lists, because lists help us move more efficiently and effectively through the things that we have to do on a regular basis. It keeps you coming back to your planner regularly as well, and having those items safe in your planner frees up that precious real estate in your brain so that you can focus on other more important items. All right, my final tip for you when it comes to setting up your planner, tip number 10. I give this tip with a little bit of caution. I encourage you to find inspiration. It's a really useful tip with a caution at the end. Getting inspiration from others is a great way to feel more confident about your planner setup. You can use Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, all the places for ideas on supplies and how to use the different sections of the planners that you're using, how to set things up most efficiently and effectively, things to include, things not to include. The caution is, don't get over-influenced. You want to set up a planner that actually reflects you and your needs, not the needs of some planner person on YouTube, right? So you don't want to set up your planner so that it would work really well for me, Planning Annie. You want to set up your planner so that it will work really well for you. So take inspiration and ideas and tailor them and make them your own. And that has worked so effectively for me, as I have been using all different types of planners. I try to stay connected to and getting inspiration from people who use planners that I'm not using, because that is another great way to get inspiration without being over-influenced in your current planner system. Those are my 10 tips to help you set up your planner for the year ahead. I hope you found these helpful. I would love to hear from you. What are the tips that you have for others when it comes to setting up your planner for the new year and setting up a new planner system that is going to help you be your very best next year? Leave all of your comments and thoughts and questions down in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it to let me know. Subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this. And as always, thanks for planning with me.